Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin ETFs. Wow, they've been talking about it for such a long time and it's finally trading. It's finally, launched. We never thought this day would come, so maybe today let's take a little bit of time and talk through the history of the Bitcoin ETF applications. Now, Bitcoin was invented in 2009 off the back of the 2008 global financial crisis. And Bitcoin is now about 15 years old. So it's kind of like a little teenager. Um, but way back in 2013, that was when the first spot Bitcoin ETF was filed. And it was filed by the Winklevoss twins, the founders of Gemini, the crypto exchange. And then it was obviously rejected. So in 2020, Grayscale then launched the Bitcoin Trust, or GBTC as it's come to be known. And of course, during that time, between 2013 to 2020 and 2021, there's been multiple um, filings and refilings from the Winklevoss twins for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and all of them have been roundly rejected. Um, So then we fast forward to 2023. Sometime in June was when BlackRock applied for the spot Bitcoin ETF. And that was when everybody stood up and took notice because BlackRock's BlackRock's ETF track record has been amazing. I think they've only ever had one rejection out of more than 500 applications. So when BlackRock came into the picture, I think everybody was excited. Everybody was sitting up and taking notice because they thought, okay, if BlackRock is filing um, for a spot Bitcoin ETF, there must be something that they know that we all don't. And true enough, um, in 2024, we've got the first, or rather the first 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs approved all at once. And this happened, the approval came in on the 10th of January, and trading actually began the very next day on 11th of January. Now, with the exception of Grayscale, which started as a Bitcoin trust and they filed to convert to an ETF. So, on day one, they would have had 619,000 Bitcoin um, of assets under management. The rest of the ETFs were actually starting from zero. So, whatever assets that you see on this table here, and whatever however number of Bitcoin that they are holding right now, these are all um, inflows for the respective ETFs. Now, as you can see on the notes section of this table, on the grayscale row, they actually held 619,000 BTC prior to the ETF launch. And as of the end of January 18th trading day, they held 581,274 Bitcoin. So, in other words, Grayscale was the only ETF that saw a net outflow of Bitcoin, meaning their customers were actually selling the Bitcoin that they had with Grayscale, and potentially buying into the other ETFs. Now, one of the reasons for this could be that Grayscale is actually um, the ETF that has the highest fee. They charge a 1.5% fee, whereas the other ETFs are charging somewhere between 0.2 to 0.5% range. So naturally, I think there would be a lot of customers that are looking to swap ETFs once they went live and once they started trading. So as you can see here, there are still net inflows across the, was it 5 days of trading now. So let's take a look at the net inflow number. Okay, let's take a look at the total Bitcoin held by ETFs as at the end of 18th of January. Um, the total number of Bitcoin held by the ETFs is 651,628. And if we look at the Bitcoin held by Grayscale Bitcoin Trust prior to conversion of the ETF, they had around 619,000 um, Bitcoin at the time. So if we look at the net inflow in 5 trading days, that's about 32,628 Bitcoin. That's flowing in um, after you less off, the outflows from GBTC. And based on the net inflow across the 5 trading days of 32,000 Bitcoin, looking at the current price of Bitcoin, which is about 41,000, we're looking at $1.33 billion um, of net inflow into the Bitcoin ETFs, and I think that's a pretty amazing feat, given that we're only like 5 trading days in. So it's really interesting to see how this all plays out in the next, in the next few months or next few weeks, just to see if this types of inflow will maintain at current levels. Um, and if it does, I think it's going to be really good for price action moving forward. I know the price has been trending down over the last week, but I think that's a lot of it is largely due to the outflows of Grayscale, and then coming into the other ETFs. But if you look at the net inflows in 5 days, 32,000 versus the new versus the number of bitcoins that are mined on a daily basis. So every day we have about 900 newly minted Bitcoin coming into the ecosystem. But if we compare that against the daily ETF inflows, the inflows of the ETFs are hugely outnumber the number of Bitcoin that are mined on a daily basis. So if this goes on, um, I think there'll be a really big supply shock, and there'll be no choice. If people want to buy, into the Bitcoin ETFs, they'll have to definitely bid the price up. So everybody's asking, what's next, right? The ETF has gone live. We have 11 Bitcoin ETFs trading now. So what's next? I think not a lot of people expected this volatility to the downside. A lot of people expected the price to go up straight away. Um, I think I think short-term volatility is fine. There's going to be ups and downs, but over the longer term, over the next 4 to 5 months, I think that's where things will really start to get interesting. So we have the Bitcoin halving coming sometime in April, and so that's less than 100 days away, and that's gonna bring in a further supply shock into the market, right? Where we're gonna see the number of Bitcoin being mined on a daily basis cut by half. So we're gonna go from roughly 900 Bitcoin mined per day to about 450 Bitcoin. And if the inflows of the ETFs continue or even grow, I think that's where we're going to see a huge shortage of Bitcoin available on exchanges to be bought, and that's where we'll see price creep up. Um, I don't want to put down any predictions on price, but I do think that sometime within 2024, which is sometime this year, I do believe we'll see a new all-time high for the price of Bitcoin. So in the last cycle, Bitcoin got to a high of I think 69,000, close to 70,000 US dollars. I think in the back half of 2024, whether it's Q3 or Q4, I think we will hit that price, and I think we'll go beyond that price. Um, for sure. And then I think 2025 will be a pretty good year as well. There's been a couple of price predictions calling for um, the peak of Bitcoin price this cycle to be between 100,000 to $200,000, and I think that's fairly achievable as a target. So we'll see. We're coming to the end of January now, so we'll see in the next couple of months where the price takes us, and I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching. And if you've watched all the way to the end and you like what you are seeing, please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos on Bitcoin, side hustles, personal finance. I'll be planning a lot more content on this channel. Thank you. See you.